Hello, dear students. Me, Miss Azra from Economics Department. Our course is Intermediate Macroeconomics, ECON-324. Today we are going to deliver lecture number 10. Our topics for today's lecture is Law of Increasing Cost, in which we will discuss different types of cost as well as examples and diagrammatical presentation. Here is law of increasing cost. As in law of opportunity cost, in our previous lecture we have explained one example by taking two courses. One is calculus and another is economics. This example is the further explanation of the previous lecture example. Let's suppose in column first we have taken one subject which is calculus, number of hours which are spent on studying calculus. And in second column there are number of hours spent on studying the subject economics. These are the calculating grades from the calculus, and here are the grades from the economics which students have taken. This column shows the opportunity cost of calculus exam, and that one shows the opportunity cost of economics exam. All these calculations are already explained in our previous lecture. This is the extension of that much lecture. What is law of increasing cost? How law of increasing cost can be explained? It is the marginal opportunity cost which rises as the level of inactivity increases. Behind the law of increasing cost, how will we explain that increasing cost? Law of diminishing returns, specialized resources, heterogeneous labor, land, capital, etc., which are factors of production. We have taken the quantity of wheat as well as quantity of corn. Two crops have been taken. Specialized resources in farming, one wheat and second one is corn. Some land, labor and capital is better suited for wheat production and some is better suited for corn production. Some are feasible for corn and some are feasible for wheat production. Here is the point A. What the point A shows, as it is under the production possibility curve. Underemployed are unemployed resources. Point inside of PPC are those points which can be easily accessible, as well as point outside the PPC are above the PPC frontier line, like B is the point which is outside the production possibility curve and we are unable to achieve it with the current available resources. Here are the two lines of production possibility curve. Let's suppose it is point A and it is point B. We can say that production possibility curve has been increased from one point, from one line to another line. That shows the growth of an economy. It shows that due to economic growth, production of both the crops wheat and corn has been increased. There is also possible that some crops are more feasible to be produced, some are labor intensive and some are based on technological improvement. Commodity specific technological change. If there is a technological change in case of wheat production, production of wheat will be increased while production of another crop, that is corn, will remain constant. What is specialization and what is trade? According to Adam Smith, economic growth is caused by increased specialization and division of labor. Gains from specialization and division of labor, specialization in areas that match the skills and talents of workers, learning by doing, increase in productivity from task repetition, less time lost while switching from task to task. Specialization and trade. As noted by Adam Smith, father of economics, specialization and trade are inextricably linked. Adam Smith and David Ricardo used this argument to support free trade among different nations. What is absolute and comparative advantage theory? Absolute advantage theory is that an individual or a country or a nation is more productive than other individuals or countries. Comparative advantage theory: an individual or country may produce a good at a lower opportunity cost that can other individuals can do it. Let us take the example of two countries, US and Japan. Both US and Japan are produce only two goods, CD players as well as wheat. This diagram, the first diagram showed the example of US and the second one is an example of Japan. For example, US is going to produce 200 units of wheat and 100 CD players. Again, Japan is producing 100 units of wheat, which is one half of US, as well as 75 CD player, which is also less than as compared to as compared to US. Here, what is absolute advantage in producing wheat and CD player? You can see that who has an absolute advantage in producing each good, either Japan or US, both is efficient in producing wheat or CD player. For comparative advantage, who has a comparative advantage in producing each good? What are the gains from the trade? In our previous slide, you have checked diagrammatical presentation which shows that opportunity cost of CD player in US is equal to 2 units of wheat. Again, opportunity cost of CD player in Japan is 4 by 3 units of wheat. Now, if Japan produces and trades each CD player to the US for more than 4 by 3 of a unit of wheat but less than 2 units of wheat, both the countries gain from trade and can consume more goods than they could produce by themselves. Again, gains from trade. Note that the US has comparative advantage in producing wheat. If you remember our last slide diagrammatical presentation, countries always expand their consumption possibilities by engaging in trade, since they acquire goods at a lower opportunity cost than if they produce them themselves. What is free trade? How will we explain the free trade? If each country specializes in the production of those goods in which it possesses a comparative advantage and trades with other countries, global output and consumption is increased. These are the recommended books. These books are recommended as well as advice from the academic committee, from the board of studies. You can take help from these books. You can also take help from the Google as well as the other books which are also available in our library. Thank you, dear students.